Today's topic is connected medical devices. So this topic is really very niche, and this is something which is very new in market, and this is going to be the future of cybersecurity. Right? So before moving ahead, let's go on to the agenda of the topic. So we are going to look after the cybersecurity in healthcare, understanding the protocols, certifications. So in healthcare cybersecurity, things are going to be a little bit theoretical because this is the basic of what I am going to tell you right now, and how it is involved in Internet of Things. So how these hospital networks, your smart ambulance, your home devices, including everything which is connected to a human body, physically or non-physically, is how it is connected to Internet. Moving ahead, we have 5 reasons why these healthcare industries are right now at very niche target in terms of cybersecurity. Then we have cybersecurity threats which are facing in the organization. So before that, this is who am I. So myself, Neelam. I am senior cybersecurity engineer at Truthsuit, India. And previously, I have worked with various organizations, starting from startups to MNC. So I have expertise in automotive, industrial control systems, web, mobile, and also I have completed my master's in specializing in cybersecurity. You can follow me on Twitter, and this is my Medium blog where you can find some articles which are majorly on the Bugbounty, and a few of them are in IoT security. My hobbies are, I am a cyclist, so my daily running in going through the cycle is 15 to 20 kilometers. I also like driving, and I like reading books as well. So let's move on to health industry. What thoughts comes in your mind when you think about cybersecurity in healthcare? So before moving ahead in cybersecurity perspective, let's understand what is it was looking after before this picture has been identified. So what we have considered, it have a range of safeguard, because when you are consulting a doctor or when you have an emergency, you want to visit to a hospital, what you are going to think it, you are going to be safer, right? But in terms of the hospital perspective, or in terms of the doctor is going to give you precautions and he is going to take care of you for at least a week. This is what we have think about. But have you thought about how it is going to affect you using the digital world? Or if things are getting involved more and more and connecting to the internet, how it is going to change the world, right? So this is just the picture what we were looking right now when we think about in terms of healthcare, we are going to be safe, our family is going to be safe, but now the picture is changing. Now we are getting move ahead into digitalization, and it is going to be very serious in terms of the healthcare, right? What do you think what these pictures look like? Can someone explain me what if this picture is self-explanatory to you? Just in one word. Database?
Database holding of all the patient records.
Okay. Just in one word, so I can help you. Like, this is your mobile device, which is going to get connected to your treatment, to getting the diagnostics, to doctors, and you are going to get precautions or preventions. So what this picture explains you?
Centralized system.
Okay. Everything is going to be paperless, right? Starting from, you're going to get a disease, to diagnose the disease, to get the treatment, to get the billings, to get every medications, pharmaceuticals, everything is going to be paperless. And this is going to be very, very, we can say, hacking kind of perspective, or very vulnerable, right? So let's look after who is going to build this paperless work. So these are the some top companies who are majorly into developing the products which are related to medical device. So one of the boss is Philips, which is in urge to make these things paperless. So they are building their own infrastructures which is going to be contactless, even the human race. So not only the job of this pharmaceutical people are going to get, even the doctor's replacement is also being in tie-up with these companies. So our job is going to increase more and their job is going to get decreased. So this is going to be next in 5-6 years. Okay, so let's move on to protocol and certifications. So to follow up these kind of medical devices, so these are the main protocols which we look after. Now suppose you are developing any product or you are developing anything which is related to a human body. So when the product is in architecture phase, or if the product is in design phase, which standard you are going to follow? So you are going to look after IEC 81001. So this protocol is something which gives you a self-explanatory about how the vulnerability analysis is or risk assessment we are going to provide when your product itself is in the development phase, right? Which is going to give you at least 80% of the things which you have to prevent it before it gets very numerous or very serious to any human body. Now IEC TR 6061 is something which is related to safety. So as you all know that in our cybersecurity terms we call something as defense in depth, right? We have to maintain layers of security in terms of network, web, even the back end, front end, servers, everything. So same thing comes in picture here. Whenever you are developing any device, you have to make sure that it is safe in terms of electric shock, because somehow it's going to get connected to a human body from fingers, from toes to tip, and this is something which helps in preventing the layers of the safety wise. So let's say take an example of when you have developed something this what we say CT scan or an ultrasound. There are some layers of security. You can say you have to maintain a fuse before it gets any untroubled behavior, or even if someone is trying to do the DOS. If the fuse fails, then you have the adapter which helps in preventing these kind of shocks, and it won't get based into the embedded system, which will give you a fault, or you can say glitching of this device. If the embedded system fails, then you have the monitor round, or we can say the display where doctors used to write all the details of the patients and diagnostics and everything. So you can see the safety level which we are going to increase in terms of perspective of the healthcare or medical device. So these are very important we can say certifications which we follow in medical, because if you're not going to follow, nobody is going to let you release these products in market, even if you have done cybersecurity, it's of no use. So now we have UL 2900 is something underwriter laboratory. So let's say you have a hospital network of 10 buildings. Now your doctor is sitting at 10th floor. Will he be going to ground floor to give the diagnostic or billing to the pharmaceutical and give you that this is the something which we are going to give my patient this kind of medicine? No, right? So everything is going to get connected digitally. So whatever you are going to transfer from here, you are writing the prescription, and it will get displayed to from 10th floor to ground floor that my patient needs, this is my patient name, this is his ID, and you need to give such kind of medicine to him according to day wise. So till the time patient is going to reach to the ground floor, everything will be displayed on the table. You just take it and go home. That's all. So this is where it is followed in UL 2096. So it maintains the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of the patient values and patient's prescriptions. but also there is also a hack in this. So it's not something, these things are with a major play in healthcare that we are going to follow in terms of the cybersecurity, but we are the people who are curious enough to how to find the flaws in it, and there are flaws in such kind of documentations as well. Now, DICOM is something which is digital imaging and communication. So, it is something which used to transfer the imaging of any human body, or we can say if you are taking X-ray and you want to diagnose the things, if the patient is not getting well-maintained treatment in India and he wants to shift back to US. So what in that case you will do? You will carry your document? No, this is not the case. You can directly transfer it from here to US doctor, and you can list it down that this is my patient detail and you need to follow in that, right? So this is the picture of DICOM, and it plays a major role in terms of the medical healthcare, because it's not something you can click the photo on WhatsApp and resend it. It's not something like that. So this is the PAC server, as like I have explained you about the DICOM. So PAC network is something which helps in transferring data from one place to another. So let's take an example of MRI, CT scan, ultrasound and X-ray. Now the patient wants these data to be recorded, and it's need to be in the workstation of any XYZ hospital network, right? So let's say the patient have done the MRI and doctor got all the prescription and diagnostic, and this patient is vulnerable, right? Vulnerable in terms of disease. So now this thing is, now I have to follow this documentation or data to healthcare level 7, or something which is in Delhi, or something the hospital is in Jammu or like that. So what you will do, we have to connect this thing to internet, and we have the client viewer, and we have a database, framers and medical workstations, right? So in the client viewer, when the things get connected to internet, you can see how these things are being transferred. These are not even connected to VPNs, which we say that these are fully secured. These files are being transferred in plain text, not even encrypted, which I will show you in coming slides. And these contains highly PII data. So let's say if I am transferring somebody's data, patient A data, and if my doctor gets patient's B data, so what will be the case? These things can, patient deaths can happen, and we don't want that. We have to prevent that, right? Okay, so let's come to Internet of Things. So what you can see, just imagine that you have an hospital infrastructure. So how you can relate what all things can be smart, as of now I have explained you. Just think something out of box, what things can be smart, so that it's going to rely latency of doctors and nurses.
Pacemaker. Pacemaker.
Pacemaker?
Yeah, for heart.
Okay. So let's say that, have you imagined something called as smart bed? You don't have any human interaction. You just have to lie down there. Everything will be diagnosed. What is your status day by day? You will get everything, medicine, even on your bed. And once you have been discharged, it will be qualified that you are successfully been treated by such kind of doctor, or you can say such kind of device. So you can say there's no human interaction between that, and this is something which is going to happen. This is really something going to happen at least in 6 to 7 years, which is because this sector is growing very fast in terms of IoT and in terms of digital things. So let's see an image. Even I have considered some humans here because things need to be placed like getting connected to your nerves or your skin, or even if we can't something rely everything on the smart things or mobile applications or smart devices, right? So still I have consider something. So you can see smart hospital space, medical innovatives and equipment tracking, medical intakes tracking, remote healthcare monitoring and drug tracking. So everything will be displayed on your bed and it's going to be completely smart. Okay, so let's see how cybersecurity issues are going to affect on healthcare sector. So these are something which is common, which we say that the phishing, man in the middle, ransomware, network vulnerability and data breach is something which is very common. But it's not like that. These all meanings are very different in terms of healthcare. So these are the something which like phishing is something which is target on human which are not very educated, such as nurse, interns, students who are very new to it, and someone who is not smart to technology and doesn't understand technologies and where to click, where to not. Man in the middle is something which I have explained before the protocol as DICOM. So these are the places which are mostly vulnerable, and things or we can say data or imagings are transferred in terms of a plain text. There is no encryption, no authentication, and anyone and everybody can see what is being displayed through the network. So network vulnerability attack, majorly in medical security, we have something which is connected to a network is Ethernet port, which are vulnerable to SYN flood or even the DOS attacks. So this is the something which is majorly connected on the medical device. See, so if something or something is not present on any medical device, Ethernet port will be definitely there, which you can connect and you can get whatever you want. So data breaching is something, if you are transferring any data or any imaging from one place to another, of course there is going to be breach, right? Okay, so let's say that the reasons why healthcare industry is targeted, because patient data is very valuable. Now let's say someone is having some revenge, or somebody wants to take some revenge to somebody, maybe you or anyone. So what you will do? You will try to mismatch the diagnostic reports just by changing the name or patient ID. So whatever treatment you want to do of person A, so treatment will be applied on person B. So this is going to play a very serious role in terms of the patient data valuables. And let's say that medical devices are really very easy to hack, starting from the thermometer to your fluorescent system, which is used in identifying the cancer of any patient from pre to post. So even the thermometer which is connected to your application is vulnerable thing. So let's say that healthcare staff, as I have told before, are not so very educated, and they doesn't understand what is the data security in terms of medical and what risk could be. So while sharing the patient data remotely, there are n number of chances you can apply, n number of attacks on it. So even not even the smaller organizations are very easy to target. You must have heard about the AIMS cyber security attack which has happened in 2018, right? So these kind of attacks are very easy to perform because of the lack of the education among the people, and because of the things which they ignore even after knowing what has happened to them. So things need to be changed as soon as we are going to involve internet, or we are going to get digitalized more in terms of healthcare. We have to change, and we have to get educated more in terms of this. Like I have explained, healthcare devices in ransomware attack, we follow that these threats are majorly, you can lock it, or user can own any kind of amount that they want to get demand. So let's say that I want $80,000 by releasing your patient data. So because doctors are not so very educated in terms of cyber attack, what they will do, or they just want to, they don't want to spoil their reputation. They will pay 80,000 or even 1 lakh dollars and just give me my data, patient's data, and go with it. So these kind of cases are also increasing right now. So you must have heard about a case in Germany which happened that there was a smart ambulance where there was no human, not even nurse, not even the patient's relatives, and it was connected to internet. The person was suffering from the heart attack, and it was something which the pump which was flowing in to give him oxygen, or which were the lines which were connected on his chest. So it is something which was controlling by a device. Now what fault has happened? Somebody's tried to hack it, and somebody's stopped the program itself, and on the same time the person died. So these kind of cases have happened long back, and even now people are not serious related to this sector. So malware is something you can define in terms of software designing. Whenever you are designing a software, you have to make it robust, you have to keep it up to date, you have to analyze what you are going to use and what is going to be in your future use. If it is not in use, just simply remove it. You don't need it, just don't add for any reason. So like we have explained, I have explained you about the data breach, like how it can occur anytime of sensitive information leakage, where if things are going to get displayed on dark web, or if people are going to, just like a bankrupt, people are just going to display all the data on internet. So it's not something which is acceptable and a good thing to follow. DOS attacks are very common in use in terms of medical health sector. It can even follow by any cables like USB, Ethernet, your Bluetooth or Wi-Fi from anywhere. You can even try to fuzz it by USB. Like fuzzing the device can actually stop working it, and it won't even restart. So let's say that approximately 168,000 medical devices are smart. This is just a rough number which I am telling you right now. Even there are more than that. So you can say mostly countries like China, Korea are getting very digitalized in terms of health sector. So these devices are majorly made on Windows XP mostly. Even not in XP, I have seen some devices which are made on Linux, but damn vulnerable, because they have no layers of authentication, even no layers of firewalls. So things which are weaker in terms of attacks is, like you can say the cardiological device or the orthopedic device, which are getting interacted with a human body. Or if you are going to diagnose somebody's, you want to fit and find the fracture, or you want to insert any screws, and just doctor displays it on the body and just he will leave it. So this is not something which is going to work in future. So people have to get interacted unless and until the system is 100% proficient, that there will be no fault in that, and there will be no glitch in that. So you can say that majorly devices which are in terms of small scalability, you can say that infusion pumps and insulin pumps which are vulnerable. Now we have seen some of the certificates like 81001 and 6061. So these devices are, sorry, these certifications are something which complies with security and safety, right? But these are directly connected to any human body. What certifications we are going to comply that? This is irrelevant to any cybersecurity and safety. So for that we have MDR and IVDR, which we say medical diagnostic, in vitro medical diagnostics. So these, because of these infusion pump, even passing it and getting released in the market and getting tested and verified, it takes almost 2 years for any manufacturer to release before getting tested and verified. So it's not something which is a very easy task. You have made any device and you just want to release it, get CE certified, FCC certified and just release in the market. You have to go through various tests and procedure. Unless it pass that, this device is going to be 100% proficient on any human body, and no infections, no blood losses or no further diagnostics infections is going to give it to any human. Okay, so what healthcare industries face issues? So can anyone tell me, apart from this, what all we can think that issues can be, other than training any employees?
I think hospitals think that technology is like one-time investment,
Hmm.
so like they don't focus on like keeping up to date softwares and operating systems.
Right, right. Correct. Any other?
Also, people don't know the severity of the, like what worst case condition can happen to a patient if,
So what do you think, what can worst happen?
like you said, hello, like you said that a person can die.
Hmm.
Like for example, if consider that a person is a prime minister or something, and his information is getting leaked over the darknet because this particular person is gonna dead. So that's a problem.
Right, right, right. So what you can try to prevent that? What suggestions you are going to give?
So first, awareness is important. I mean, like people must actually know that this is the problem and this has to be fixed. Also, giving more and more security audit opportunities to people, like to the other companies.
So that's why I said our jobs are going to increase,
Yes,
and
definitely.
these doctors' jobs are going to get decreased. Any other? Okay, so let's see with one example what comes in your mind after looking at this device. So let me give you a little bit about this device. So this device is fluorescent system which tries, so you can see here, this is the scanner which helps in identifying the breast in the cancer in terms of any human body related to the breast cancer, even the blood cancer, skin cancer or anything, from the starting phase of one to the last phase. Even if some little spots are being behind, it will detect and it will try to impulse those kind of diseases. So what do you think? What kind of vulnerability you can find here? I think so. It's very easy to identify. No, I'm not talking about the attack. What you can try to look after looking at this device. So what will be your approach? Ah,
Network related vulnerabilities. Network related vulnerabilities.
I'm not talking about attack. This is not a laptop. So let me give you a simplified, like suppose that this device is having just USB, Ethernet, which is getting connected to internet, just one source of getting connected to internet, not even Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. So what will be your approach? DOS? USB fuzzing. Flipper, yes.
Wi-Fi deauthentication.
No, Wi-Fi is not there. Ethernet. हाँ? क्या थी? हाँ, right. Can you try to just wipe off the whole system and install your own?
That's very easy.
Very easy. But did anyone thought about it?
We thought about like taking the whole system to home.
No, you can't do that. So, like wiping off the whole system can be one possibility because of the poor BIOS configuration. They have given the highest priority to any USB injection. Of course, they want to transfer the data, but also they are lacking behind that someone can try to inject malware or someone can try to install the OS itself. What else you can do? Can you try to do some database interaction or getting some information out of the application? Right, but it was not so very easy for me to identify. So it was a huge target, but somehow I succeeded it, and even I was able to see the PII data. So you can see patient date, patient ID, patient date of birth, studies, time, and everything. So it's something critical. Okay, so let's look after what healthcare cybersecurity best practice we can follow. Of course, we have to analyze the gap assessment. We have to do the risk analysis, and we have to train the employees, spread the awareness, just like how I did, and it's very necessary. And regular security updates and patch is also compulsory in terms of healthcare. Although healthcare is, I think, little bit boring part, but it's important because these studies need to be taken care, these regulations need to be taken care before releasing anything in market or before applying it on any human body. Questions?
You guys feel free to ask any questions. I know this was like a little bit different topic.
Hello. So, hi, thanks for the great talk. So, I have one little questions like European countries, they are using some laser machines to perform the eye surgeries.
Right.
So, there are like what happens when you perform the roll jam attacks and increasing the frequency, decreasing the frequencies. And there are like you can use the radio attacks also too. And in the cars, like right now, they're using rolling codes to block the replay attacks. So there are any countermeasures for that?
Yeah. So when you are talking about the rolling codes, of course you have to maintain a flash ROM inside it, which will try to dump the sequence number which is being repeated. You don't have to repeat the number every time you are authenticating or de-authenticating a device. You have to maintain a log which should not be repetitive, and every time it is asking for authentication, it should be regenerated and simply dump in this flash ROM and never repeat it. So these kind of countermeasures we can follow. Related to your skin, or you can say the laser which is going to affect the eye. So these are something which doesn't come in cybersecurity. So like I have told you about the MDR and IVDR. So these regulations are something which is different and not relevant to us. and they have huge, you can say consistency and the follows which should be taken care and testings of. So they thoroughly test the device and then only they will release these things in market. Before that, it's not allowed.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Hi, good afternoon. So, hi, this side. Okay, so for all the connected medical devices, I mean, we can look at it like IoT devices only, basically,
Correct.
from a
Right.
technology standpoint. So, I mean, a quick fix. I mean, what is the feasibility of giving a IoT management software and managing the health of all these IoT devices from a security standpoint? Have we not considered that, or what is the block, or what is the feasibility check?
Yeah, so that's why we have something called as HIPAA compliance for the same. Like I have said that this is connected to IoT, but now even some devices which I have tested are connected to cloud, connected to all kind of applications like the client which is based on electrons, and something which is even you can say the standalone itself. So these things are becoming very digitalizing now, right now. So we have the standards called that HIPAA, and the things which we have listed before, 80801 and 6061. So these helps in regulating these devices regularly. They make sure that monitoring and even the incident response does not have to be taken care, even if these things are being applied on any human body or even getting installed in hospitals. Any,
Any other questions, guys? Okay, so let's thank you